Pumped up kicks, spooky music for a paranormal story, right? Every Friday in October, FOX28's Fryer and Franzak teaming up with Michiana Paranormal investigators are going to some real called haunted places.
Oh yeah, this week it is the State Theater in downtown South Bend. FOX28's Fryer and Franzak has a preview of what is coming up.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, so the State Theater is supposedly haunted. So we went to the experts, Michiana Paranormal Investigations, to find out if it is. So to kind of talk a little bit about the equipment that was used during the investigation that they already did, we have Liz and Jeff. So talk to us a little bit about what each device is and what it measures.
Absolutely. The first thing I'd like to start off with is the digital IR camera. This camera we use with a digital video recording system. It has infrared lights built into it, so at night when the lights go out, it will switch over from a normal camera mode over to a night mode. The next item is what we call an EMF meter. An EMF meter measures the electromagnetic frequency at a specific location. The next thing we have here is what we call a digital audio recorder. What we use a digital audio recorder for is to capture EVPs. EVP stands for electronic voice phenomena. Essentially what an EVP is a voice sound that is captured on the recorder but not heard at the time of the recording. And what we do with these equipments is we actually put them in what we call a go bag. The go bag is essentially what we give our teams to go out, so all the equipment is in one spot. That way nothing gets lost.
Well, speaking of go bags, we're going to go and investigate. We're going to start off in the projection room where it's told that you can hear voices, you can hear a projection screen running, but there is no projection screen up there. So coming up at 7:45, that's where we're going to go next. Back to you guys.
Well, it is that time of year. We all have a good ghost story, right? Plenty of good ghost stories in downtown South Bend at State Theater.
Oh yes, there are. FOX28's Fryer and Franzak. She is meeting up with Michiana Paranormal investigators to find out what everybody thinks the State Theater is haunted.
Guys, we are up in the projection room, and this you can see is the very, very old machine. Doesn't work. There's absolutely no power up here. And to talk a little bit about what Michiana Paranormal Investigations do is they try to not just find ghosts. It's all about debunking a lot of the ghost stories that you hear. So Jeff, talk a little bit about what is it and how you guys try to debunk a lot of these stories.
What happens is someone will call us into a business or a residence and they'll tell us, hey, this is what's going on. We're feeling uncomfortable in this room. We're hearing noises come from this corner. So what we'll do is we'll take our equipment around and try to see first what is causing that. We automatically don't want to assume that or tell them that, yes, your house is haunted right away. We really want to try to prove it otherwise or figure out to them what we have discovered. So we'll take our meters, cameras, we'll set stuff up, and that's why we like to do the investigation, because that way we can get more detailed into their claims to figure out, why is this corner feel uncomfortable when there's possibly an outlet next to it that isn't wired correctly. So it gives you that feeling that something's not right, and that's what we like to do with our equipment.
And how much evidence do you guys really need in order to say that something's haunted? How much paranormal evidence do you need?
Well, there's different types of evidence. There is our personal experiences, and then there's physical evidence. And if we're walking through a house or a building and I hear a noise or I see something but it's not caught on camera, it's only a personal experience. So that's not evidence. But if I have a video recording or a tape of the same thing along with my personal experience, at that point we could say that it possibly is haunted because I have something to back up what I'm saying.
Now Liz, you guys were called out here. Tell me some of the things that they told you that was kind of disturbing and the things that kind of made them go bump in the night here.
Well, in the very lower basement, they feel uncomfortable, they feel uneasy, they kind of get sick to their stomach, and they don't want to stay down there very long. Up on the stage, shadows are seen, they can hear voices, people are being touched. He and I were conducting an EVP session, and we didn't hear anything at the time. We were like, okay, well, let's try something else. On reviewing it, we found a voice that was captured on his recorder that was next to him, and he actually talked over him. So that was quite interesting.
Well, coming up around 8:15, we are going to go onto that stage and kind of see if maybe that voice is still there. But we're going to go check out the stage just in a little bit. Back to you guys.
There are a number of places in America that are haunted. A lot of them happen to be theaters, and South Bend has a few of those.
Just a few, right? Well, this week, FOX28's Fryer and Franzak and Michiana Paranormal investigators, they're meeting up in a State Theater in downtown South Bend, where apparently Ghost is trying to get his message out there.
So we're on the stage where a big crucial piece of evidence was found that is pretty paranormal, and it could kind of maybe say that the State Theater in downtown South Bend is haunted. But to talk a little bit about what was found in that piece of evidence is Jeff, who you were actually standing on this stage when a voice was captured.
Absolutely. Actually, right where we're standing right now, is me and Liz from our group. We were doing an EVP session where we put a tape recorder down and we were asking various questions. As we're sitting here, out of the corner of my left eye, I look out into the crowd and I see what appears to be a shadow. And immediately after that, on the recorder, as I'm talking, at the end of one of my phrases, you hear this dark voice that talks over me. Then there's a pause, and then there's a whole other phrase that is not me or Liz.
By the camera, they got in the corner of my eye, I saw it. I don't know, the stairs are by the camera, they got in the corner of my eye, I saw it. I don't know,
And we were the only ones in the area at that time that recording took place.
Now, you were saying that with EVPs that, you know, it's one of these things that sometimes people say like, oh, was that me whispering? But you said a lot of it deals with the wavelength.
Right. A lot of people think that an EVP, when you hear one, it's just someone out in the corner yelling something onto the recorder. Every voice or sound that you hear comes on a different wavelength. And when it comes to a human voice, when you're hearing me right now, you know, you're going to be up in the higher end of the frequency. But when it comes to EVP, if you put it in the right software, you can actually pull apart the wavelengths. And you'll find out that the EVP is below the threshold of human hearing. So that means that you're not going to hear it at the time, but it's at the point where the recorder will actually pick it up, which is why you don't hear it, which is why it's not possible for someone to be yelling that onto the recorder, because it would be up in that upper spectrum, but when it's down lower, it's something that's not human that's making that noise.
So now when you're going back, I mean, and you're listening to this, to the tape and stuff like that, I mean, and you hear a voice and you know that it's not you, it's not Liz, what's the first thing that goes through your head? Because I would be mortified.
The first thing we like to do is definitely try to clean it up a little bit. We have a member of our group, Jeannie, who that's what she's really good at. We'll take it apart and really kind of pull apart what we're hearing. And then we like to kind of figure out, what is it saying? Does it have anything to do with the location we're at? Is it responding to something we're saying? Is it just out of the blue? Just kind of pop up. So we really try to figure out exactly where it's coming from and what it's directed toward.
Awesome, awesome. When we come back, we're going to take a trip down to the basement where it's supposedly supposed to be really, really creepy down there. And we're going to talk to another investigator more about equipment and possibly the reason why it feels so creepy. Back to you guys.
October, it's Friday, which means we're taking you to another haunted place to find out if it really is haunted.
Fox 28's Farron Franzak brings us to the State Theater with Michiana Paranormal investigators to answer the question, is it haunted?
So we are in the sub-basement, and you guys, I'm not going to lie, it's really creepy down here. You get this really gross feeling. So to talk a little bit more about maybe why I'm feeling that way is Jeannie. Talk a little bit about what this is.
This is one of our devices that we'll use. It's called a Mel meter, and it will detect the EMF field in here. And what we like to do is walk around and show what the baseline of this environment is, because this is what would make you feel sick. And right now I get a little sick to my stomach. So we'll go around and establish the baseline. And it also reads temperature, and it does some other functions, like it'll emit an EMF field around an antenna, so if you get close, some lights will go off. So this is the different functions that this device has.
And you guys say that you have to constantly be careful that it's the right evidence.
Yes, we have to be very mindful as investigators, because there are different things that could make this go off in a false manner. One of them would be a walkie-talkie, and if... There we go. See, this device is going off. It looks like we're detecting something, but it's really the walkie-talkie. So we have to be careful that we're not going to give a client false evidence.
And so it's one of these things, too, like you said, in a lot of popular ghost shows, you see this happen all the time, and you have to be careful.
Right. These devices you'll see go off all the time on different shows. But in my investigations over the years, it's rarely gone off. So when it does go off, that's when you have to think, oh, well, that's something, you know. But then there are times it is a false reading, and I have had it go off and thought, oh wow, that's cool, but it's really the walkie-talkie doing it. So.
Well, to kind of go along with that creepy feeling, we have Jeff, who actually, you got some evidence down here. I'm going to step over on this side. So what did you find?
During the investigation that night, we had a motion sensor light set up right here on this very piece of wood here. A motion sensor is, again, anything that moves, the light will come on. Well, as we left the room, about 20 minutes after we had left, on our digital video camera, we actually saw the light fall off, and we had that caught on video. So, can't really explain that. The device itself has a level bottom, and it's pretty flat here, so we're not quite sure how that happened.
So we have that, we have the EVP, and we have the shuffling up in the projection room. So, haunted or not?
For this location, I'm going to say yes, it's haunted.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, now we got to ask the other two. We have to ask Jeannie and Liz. So what do you guys think, haunted or no?
Oh gosh, I'm the skeptic of the group, so I'm borderline. I need more evidence, but there is stuff going on here for sure. Oh, well, and posted with the EVP, so I hate to label stuff on it, but I would say there is definitely something going on here.
And how about you, Liz?
Haunted.
Haunted. Awesome. Well, you guys remember, again, next Friday we're going to be checking another spooky place out around Michiana, so make sure you stay tuned every Friday for Michiana Paranormal Investigations. Back to you guys.
Putting an eye on entertainment, former Guns N' Roses guitar man Slash feeling pretty good about his latest hit album, World on Fire.
Courtney's also proud to work